XRP, Cardano, and Aave. That's what we're going to be covering today. We're going to do a deep dive into the technical analysis, the real psychology of the market, what's likely to occur next using Elliot wave theory and Fibonacci theory, which applies around 50 to 70% of the time very, very clearly. So we're going to see where is the market at with these projects. So if you like today's video, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Help me get to 1,000 subscribers. We are so close. We are so close. So if you don't know me, my name is Jagir. I'm the award-winning author of The Extraordinary New Venture Capital Opportunity, How to Invest Like a Pro. Been trading currencies for over 15 years. Really focused on crypto right now. Love crypto, blockchain, the innovation. It is exciting and it's sexy, right? And I was also featured in this book, this best-selling book, High Probability Trading Strategies, back in 2008. So let's dive in. Let's start with XRP. XRP, so looking at the chart right now, we did a video, I think it was roughly around towards the end of June, and we had this pink box drawn saying, look, this looks like a high probability zone for an end of a wave 2. Now, if you're thinking, Jagir, what the heck's an end of a wave 2, and you're not familiar with Elliot wave theory, quick recap. This is what Elliot wave theory is. And this is this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here is what we're talking about with XRP. This A, B, C is what we're looking at over here. This hopefully that's clear for you. So when we look at this, we're looking at this A, B, and this move to the downside. We could say this was a C, and then another correction, another move down, but because it wasn't overlapping, this wasn't a deep correction. It looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's where we're projecting down here. So where are we right now? So let's look at the momentum indicator, right? So with the momentum, what we're looking for is that these lows, if they marry up nicely with the blue and the red line cross on the downside, and it just tells us the rhythm. Sometimes there's a nice rhythm with a market, and this can give us valuable information. So you'll see that this low over here married up quite close to this one. This low actually married up quite nicely with this one. And now the momentum is oversold, meaning it's below this line. So we should see a next local low. So let's just do a quick zoom in, right? Let's zoom in to this part of the market over here. Now, my only concern with XRP is what we want to see is something called an overbalance of time and price. More, let's just focus on price. You're probably thinking, well, what the heck? So if I just even get rid of these, I can get rid of this one as well. So just clean up the chart a little bit. Let's just clean this up. But we'll get rid of this as well. We don't need that here. So what we're looking for when it comes to overbalance of time and price. Well, WD Gann is a big thing. When you see an overbalance of time and price, a reversal is imminent and inevitable. So the movement to the upside, let me just get rid of this magnet. The movement to the upside in this whole, like we had this, let's just make sure we're clear. Go down, up, down, up, down, up, right? These up movements within the correction, this distance, let's just draw it in a straight line. This distance is the move up on price action. This from here, this is closing day data, by the way, it's the daily chart, just closing day data, is roughly around here. And we want an overbalance, meaning the movement to the upside of the new part of the market, which is where we are right now, exceeds the previous moves to the upside when it's the overbalance of price action. So if we now take this, even if we just take it like this, copy and paste it, and I draw it exactly the same here, you'll see that the price has not exceeded the previous move to the upside. Definitely not exceeded this one. So that doesn't show an overbalance of price. It does show an overbalance within this move here. This move here, you can see that this is bigger than this move to the upside and this move to the upside. But when it comes to this bigger part, so I'm not convinced, it's not overly convincing that we've come to the end. What we may see is one more lower low being made. And if that's the case, it'll probably end up around here. But what we're looking for to give us confidence with XRP is ideally bigger than this one. So if we now just kind of, we'll put this here, let's put this here, but let's just copy and paste this one. We want to move to the upside that is greater than this. Definitely greater than this, but ideally greater than this. And if it's up like this, even by 10, 20, 30%, that gives us great confidence that the buyers have overtaken the sellers. The bulls has overtaken the bears. And that says there's a change in the market, the buying behavior. And then we can be more confident that a low is being made. So you'll notice that I put a question mark near this too. I'm thinking we're probably going to see one more lower low being made because we haven't had that. This is more of a corrective move to the upside. It wasn't impulsive. Whereas these moves to the downside, they're much more aggressive, much more impulsive to the downside. So we want to be mindful of that. So we're probably going to see one more move to the downside because this may be, let's just draw this so you really see the picture here. I'm looking for, well, this here. Looks like a 1, 2, potential 3, 4, and the next 5 over 5 over C. That's what we're potentially looking at over here. So let's just make this micro. There we go. Boom. Right, so there's 4 wave counts here. We've got this A, B, C, really drawn out C, over wave 2, and then we've got this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we've got this mini 1, 2, 3, looks like a 4, and a sideways diagonal wave 5. So yeah, we want to be mindful that we're probably near the end of XRP's low, but I don't think we've quite got there yet. Looking at the weekly momentum also, if I just pull this up here, look at this. So the weekly momentum is now bullish. So the downside movement should now be limited, and we should expect the low to be made. So there you go, you got a nice clean update on XRP. So now let's jump into Cardano. Cardano, are you familiar with Cardano? It is a powerhouse. You must have heard of Cardano, also known as Aave. So we jump into coin market cap first of all. Let's click on Cardano. It's currently ranked as number 5. Market cap is, where is the market cap? It is just under $40 billion for Cardano. It is an Ethereum competitor. It is a powerhouse. Charles Hodgkinson is a former Ethereum co-founder and used to work with the Ethereum team, so you know he's a great developer. All-time high, let's just have a quick look. With here, all-time high has been $2.46, and currently today we are on $1.24, so around 50% down from its all-time high. But now let's just jump into the website. So let's have a quick look at the website. Making the world work better for all. There you go. Making the world work better for all. Because Cardano is a blockchain platform like Ethereum for change makers, innovators, and visionaries with the tools and technologies required to create possibility for the many as well as the few and bring about positive global change. Just so you know, I'm short-sighted. So I'm short-sighted. I'm squinting here, kind of just about seeing that because it's white upon black, white there. Our world is changing together. We can change it for the better. So he's got a big mission. You know, if you watch his interview, Charles Hodgkinson wants to make a big difference, especially in the third world where payments and banking is not really that evident and the structure's not there. So he's got a really, really big plan and a big vision. But today, let's focus on Aave, Cardano, the technicals, right? The technical psychology. Because remember, there's 2 things going on here. There's the fundamentals of the program or the project, the team, the infrastructure, what they're building, their timeline, the minimal viable product, the development that's happening on Cardano, and so on and so forth. But then there's just pure speculation and buying and selling. And a lot of people, the majority of price action for all crypto is more often than not speculation, whether it's Bitcoin or Cardano. So we can learn from that. So what we've had with Cardano, again, just quickly doing a quick jump back into this Elliot wave recap on the theory of Elliot wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, followed by an A, B, C, right? If we ignore the noise, if I just do it like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then an A, B, C. You'll see with Cardano, we seem to be at this A, B, C section, but this whole move to the upside is like a wave 1. So if we just dive back into Cardano, that's what we're saying here. This wave 1, right? This first move, but actually breaks down into, let me just draw it here. There's a few different wave counts, but let's just keep it simple. Let's just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over wave 1, 5 over wave 1, and we'll just change this to our intermediate wave count. Right, so it's a wave 5 over wave 1. Hopefully that's clear. And then we said it looks like it's not done a nice A, B, all the way up here, and looks like it's forming its wave C. Right, so the pattern is quite clear. However, there's a couple of things. Normally, a price, the correction normally finishes at 50% of time taken to form a wave 1, and we're not quite there. So So that kind of gives me a bit of concern that we might not have seen the low of Cardano, but from a pattern perspective, it looks healthy. So we've got these two price zones that are drew in advance. So let's have a look. Bum, bum, bum. So we've got this nice ABC. Let's just make sure we're on the same page. Let me just show you here. Got this nice A, big move to the downside. We had the wave B, nice clean A, B, C, textbook stuff. And then we've had a next move to the downside. Boom, a wave C. Yeah, that's what we're looking at, A, B, C. And again, around 50-70% of the time, these patterns will be evident. Now, a wave C's relationship to a wave A is 62%. That's what this line represents. And 100% of wave C. That's what these two lines are. And so we've got these two zones. And if price does go below this zone, we'll probably end up over here. But the likelihood is, if we just now look at the momentum, let's just look at the weekly momentum very quickly. I think the momentum might have just gone bullish. So the blue line has just crossed over the red line, or it's close. It only take one week of a bullish movement, and the blue line will cross the red, which is saying that the downside on a weekly chart is limited. And then let's just look at the momentum here. You can see that we're coming towards the market being oversold and then becoming bullish. So what we may have with Cardano is the following. Let's just zoom in over here. Let's just zoom in like this. Let's just zoom in. Boom. Right. Hopefully you can see this. Let me do it like this. Sometimes my face is over there. So what we look like we've got here is this first move to the upside and then this correction down. But what we want to see is, I'm doing this taking my time because sometimes I go too fast and I may confuse you. So we've got this wave one. We're going to look at this and go, this looks like a potential wave two. If that's the case, the price should not go below this point, and that's the correction. This move to the upside is bigger than any other move on this part of the movement, but it's not bigger than this one. Let's just have a quick glance. So we're always looking for a clear overbalance of price, at least price, and to see that this price hasn't exceeded that, but it has exceeded these ones over here. So what we could have, and you'll notice I'm using the word could, is this initial, just drawing it like this to make it really, really clear. Initial wave one, let's just draw it small. And then we look like we've got this correction happening. So I just want to focus on this part here. I'm taking my time here because a lot of you are interested in Fibonacci. Like how do I use this Fibonacci stuff? Do you get what is it really, and is it powerful? Well, typically when you got a wave one, a typical correction, a maximum correction is 78.6%. So if I just get this retracement tool out, we're going to just measure this low to this high. In fact, we're going to do it from here, make it easier for you to see. This low to this high. And a typical correction is 50% to 62% and a maximum of 78.6%, right? Now this line is now confusing for us. I'm just going to get rid of this for a second. I might bring it back in a second, right? So we see that we're getting close to this 78.6% retracement. So that's the most important one, which is the typical maximum of a wave two. The momentum is oversold, so we may see what looks like a, here we go, an A, B, C. And what I want to do here is just put this as a micro count. Yeah, so we're really, really clear. And then with this, it's a wave two. So this is important, right? Because most people get confused here, and I want to make sure I'm making this as clear as I can for you. If this is the end of a wave two, we've got this initial move to the upside. It's normal for the market still to be uncertain. For the average Joe, for most people, is like, is this a new beginning of a new trend, or are we still going to see lower lows? So that's why you tend to get the biggest correction of a wave two, because the market is still undecided. So we've pulled back to 78.6%. So this is a wave. I want to make this really, really clear, because again, it sometimes can be a bit confusing. The macro count is a wave one, and a wave 2. Then the intermediate count is going to be, we're on this A, B, C, and then a potential 1, 2 of the initial count. And what comes after a 1, 2? Well, it's going to be a 3. And if that really starts to unfold, what we may see is the initial breakout of a wave 3, a wave 4, a wave 5 of the initial upside movement. And then what typically then happens is you'll get a slightly bigger correction, an A, B, C, and then this will be carried as a microwave 1, a 1 over 3. 1 over 3, did you get? What the heck are you going on about? Well, this is a wave 2. We're beginning this wave 3, but the wave 3 is normally a really extended wave that will overtake this high. It will normally exceed the all-time high. However, it will move in a sequence. It will kind of go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And just to make that really, really clear, because this is important, is we're almost seeing this movement happen here. This is what we're focused on, this part of the market. Where are we here? This 1, 2. That's what we're focused on right now, right? What comes next is normally this 3. But if I just now go to the end, what you'll see happen is this part of the wave 1 breaks down into a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You'll see this commonly happen. It's the psychology of the market, and the psychology repeats. And more often than not, 50 to 70% of the time, this is evident. And then we're looking at this A, B, C correction of a wave 2, A, B, C correction of a wave 2. And then this initial 1 and this initial 2 is what I've just drawn. And then we anticipate a wave 3 of a 3, which tends to be the most impulsive, aggressive move. If it does unfold like this, we'll tend to get another correction, which is a wave 4 of a wave 3, a wave 4 of this wave 3, and then a final wave 5 of a wave 3. So now if we just jump back into Cardano, this is that wave 2 that we just spoke about, that 1, 2, that 1, 2, and then this initial 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this micro part could be the wave 1, the wave 2, and then we anticipate a wave 3 of this wave 1. Yeah, so this whole thing is like the wave 1 of a wave 3. Yeah, hopefully that's making some sense, right? So let me just make sure I draw this again. This is the wave 1 of a wave 3, but then you got a wave 1 of the wave 1 of the wave 3, and you'll see these unfold. My gut feeling is I don't know how good a job I'm doing at making this part clear. So just to kind of elaborate, sometimes it can fry your brain, is this is a wave 1 of this wave 1. This is a wave 2 of this wave 1. This is a wave 3 of this wave 1. Yeah, and that's how we're communicating. We're literally saying, right, it looks like we've done a nice, on a macro, 1, 2, and then we are anticipating a bigger degree. It would normally be even bigger than the wave 1 by 1.618. It will kind of be like this. And then what I'm saying is this here is the initial wave 1 of this wave 1 of this wave 3. Hopefully that makes some sense. Let me know if that makes sense. Comment below if that does make sense, because I want to make sure you get this, because it can be very, very powerful for us to anticipate this. The other projection that we can make to give us more confidence that this is likely to be an ABC of a 2 over 1 over 3. I know, it takes some practice. Everything is difficult before it's easy. That's the classic saying. So we're gonna measure this. Wave A and wave C normally equal each other. So this is going to be 100% alternate price projection, and you'll see it clusters over the 78% retracement. That is really, really powerful. That's really, really powerful. There's a couple of other things that I would like to normally do, which is time analysis, just some basic time analysis. We're going to measure this. Normally a correction is a minimum of 50%. So it's exceeded 50% of the time it's taken to do wave 1. And then last but not least, the time taken to do a wave C is often the same time taken to form a wave A. So we want to look at the 100%. Right, so we've got this cluster here. Boom. this here. And then if I also do this, yeah, we've got a cluster, which is, so we now got pattern A, B, C over 2. We've got, oh, I just deleted that by accident. Let me just do this again. Oh, bring that back. We got a pattern, a wave 1, wave 2, and an A, B, C. So that's 2 degree counts. That's good. We got price. We got 78.6% retracement, and we got 100% alternate price projection. That's 2. We've got time analysis. It's past the 50%, but it's 100% retracement. The time taken to do a wave 1 and the time now approaching is the same. That typically is the maximum. The typical maximum is 100%, and the 100% time taken to do wave A projected forward from wave B is also here. So now we've got this real tight zone, and then last but not least, we've got pattern, price, time, and then the momentum. Look at the momentum. As soon as this crosses over, we are likely to see a low being made with Cardano, and then we should, the probability, and again, it's never guaranteed, so that's important why you apply proper risk management. Whatever style of trading or what your long-term buy and hold, sometimes you just want to know how my portfolio is likely to perform, and others are being more active day in, day out. We should expect this high to be exceeded, and what should we anticipate if that does occur? It's 1.618. We're going to measure this from here to here to here. Let's just say it does get to here. The initial 1 to 2 weeks following from today, we should do a minimum to a maximum of, let's have a quick glance. Cardano getting to 1.72 is the minimum that I would anticipate, and the maximum being just over $2, just over $2 if this ends up being the wave 2 low, right? And that's important to know. And then last but not least, how long does a wave 3 take to form? Let's just do it for the fun of it. I know there's a lot of lines now on the chart, but hopefully you're still with me. If you like this video, by the way, like this kind of stuff, if you want me to go into more detail with time analysis, price, put it in the comments below, because I'm trying to deliver what you want and what you need, as opposed to just doing what I'm having my own entertainment with. So a wave 3 is typically minimum the same length as a wave 1. So we can project that forward. Let's just say it completes here. So I'm going to get rid of this one now. Let me just get rid of this. But I'm going to get rid of this one. Right, so this one here is the typical minimum of a wave 3. Let's just change that to green for a second. Typical minimum, because you can get quite, precise. And again, it depends if you're trading, if you're doing long-term buy and holds, and so on and so forth. But this kind of just gives you an indication. And then the typical maximum is actually the same thing, but actually the whole length is taken to do a wave 1 to wave 2 is the typical maximum for a wave 3. So what this does is it just gives us an idea that the price action, the immediate 1 to 2 weeks following from today, price action is likely to get into this zone. Time and price, right? So we can have a date. We go 28th of July should be the minimum time. If this low holds and this becomes the low, we get a more bullish momentum reversal and the price starts to go up. July 28th, we should reach this price, and the longest it should take is the 7th of August, right? So we have a good kind of time price target. So there you have Cardano. We've got one more today. You ready for it? We are going to cover Aave. Aave. Have you heard of Aave? It is a powerhouse when it comes to DeFi. What the heck is DeFi? DeFi is decentralized finance. Okay, you get it, but what the heck is decentralized finance? It is finance done on the blockchain. The innovation of blockchain basically is one thing only. The main thing is it decreases the cost of trust by 10,000 times. So currently, why on the planet today, there's around 3 billion people unbanked. The really ties in with Aave and Cardano in terms of what they're doing, their mission, is the cost of trust is expensive. Banks, buildings, staffing, security, protocols, fax machine. Yes, you still use fax machines. Transmitting data paper to paper to paper is a really old legacy system. So the cost of trust is currently in the centralized world very expensive. Blockchain, does what Netflix did to Blockbuster Video, right? Netflix, what it did to Blockbuster Video was it eradicated the need for a physical store to get your video entertainment. Hence, Blockbuster Video is no longer in existence. What blockchain is allowing for is borrowing, lending, banking, payments, eventually mortgages, which is happening right now, insurance, anything that requires a high level of trust. Blockchain is just a better way of doing it. Like the internet is a better way of doing many things, including e-commerce, including watching what you're watching right now. That's what's happening. So Aave is, let's just go to CoinMarketCap, is, let's have a look, I think it was 27. Was it 27? Aave is 28. I'm sure it was 27 earlier today. How close is that? Yeah, I'm sure it was 27 not that long ago. So it's very, very close. $3.5 billion market cap, very close to EOS, or a slight increase in price, maybe by 1 or 2 cents. It's just overtaken. So Aave going up by 50 cents will change that again. It's so close, isn't it? Look at this. It's like even Monero is just behind Monero. It's not that far off. You know, just the dollar going up, it will probably get into the top 20 again. You know, let's see where there's a big jump. Where's the big jump? The big jump is probably Uniswap. So I reckon Aave, if we just look at a couple of things with Aave, because it's interesting to know, right? Interesting to know the circulating supply of Aave is 12 million tokens in circulation. So that means if Aave goes up by $1, the market cap goes up by 12 million. If it goes up by $10, it goes up by 120 million. And if it goes up by $100, it goes up by 1.2 billion. So when Aave goes to, let's just call it $373, which has been there before, that will increase this by 1.2 billion, give or take. That will make it get to position 23. It's like a little race, right? Who can get to stop. So let's just click on Aave. Let's just have a quick gander. So Aave, current price action is $275. The market cap, as we just said, is $3.5 billion. Circulating supply is 12.8 million of a total of 16 million. So they've still got another 4 million to release over time. All-time high with Aave. Let's have a glance. All-time high is 666.86. 666. I don't know if that's a good luck number or not. I know it's normally a bad luck number, but there you go, 666 for Aave, and it's been as low a year ago, less than a year ago, 7-8 months ago, it was $25. Can you believe that? $25 for Aave. So let's just quickly dive into their website. Liquidity protocol, they've got, yes, $15 billion locked into Aave. That's a big deal. Total value locked means there's people have put in $15 billion, nearly $16 billion locked in. So that banking, the blockchain, DeFi, banking infrastructure, decentralized banking infrastructure, and Aave is currently got $16 billion. And normally when total value locked is much lower than the market cap, because the market cap, I think CoinMarketCap has got a ratio now. Did they put a ratio in? There's the volume to market cap ratio. Total value locked, here you go. So total value locked, well here it says 9.2 billion. Whereas on Aave's website, I guess it's liquidity protocol, so I don't know if this is the total value locked, it might be just slightly different. So Aave is an open source and non-custodial liquidity protocol. Non-custodial means, like Coinbase, for instance, is a custody solution. They're a custodian of your money. So there is a centralized party that has control. They can say yes, no, they can change rules, they can freeze your account, they can all do these things. Whereas the beauty of the blockchain and Aave and projects like Aave is non-custodial, meaning the money is directly on the blockchain. It doesn't know who you are, doesn't care who you are, your color, your creed, your race, your age, doesn't matter. It's directly on the blockchain. Boom. So it gives open access to everyone. So it's decentralized finance. That's one of the beauties of decentralized finance. So non-custodial, that's what that means. For earning interest on deposits and borrowing assets. So we just scroll down, basically just showing all the investment protocols in play. Like if you want to loan out your DAI, or your Gemini dollar, or your US dollar, your Tether, or your Binance coin, or your Aave itself, you can get all these different interest rates. And you can also borrow. You can stake certain coins like Ethereum and then borrow against it as the equivalent of taking out a loan. So this is all happening, and Aave is one of the biggest players in this space, hence it's a top well now 28, or 27 earlier on, with Aave. But I know what you want, right? Great, yeah, got a better understanding of Aave, powerhouse, but what's the technicals? What's the psychology of the market? What's likely to occur in the next month, week, and maybe even days? So let's have a look at Aave. So jump into the daily chart with Aave. So now we're looking at the psychology of Aave. Can you see what I'm seeing? So Aave, how long has Aave been out? Let's just have a quick glance. I like to check, because sometimes when you have a chart open on TradingView, the data only comes to a certain point. But it really depends on the where you're getting the data from. And this gives me an option to get the data from different sources, whether it's Binance. But it depends on when it was listed on Binance, and that's when the data starts. So when you want to, if you ever want to see when did it open, when did Aave start, you can just go to the first price action, and it says October 5th, 2020. So less than a year. Wow. Wow. Powerhouse. Less than a year. That's impressive. All right, so let's just look at this. What's the price action happened? I actually did okay on Aave earlier this year. I was involved around, I think it was this zone here, and then I sold and I was looking to rebuy down over here because it was a nice ABC correction. But now looking in hindsight, where are we right now? What's the tool I'm looking for? Where are we? This is what I'm looking for. Looks like a nice 1, 2. Oh, that was terrible. Quick recap. Let me do a quick recap. Remember this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. ABC. That's what we're looking at. Yeah, and you'll see it. You'll get more and more familiar with this because you'll see it now. Can you actually? In fact, can you see it? Have a quick glance. What do you see when we look at this? Right, this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the A, B, C. That's the theory, and it applies 50 to 70% of the time. But now when we go to a live chart, it takes a bit of training, like most things in life. But can you kind of take a high-level overview and go, what do I see? Can I see a potential 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 count and an A, B, C? Well, from my experience, what I'm seeing is the following. Nice initial move up, 1, 2, 3, a nice A, B, C, and then this final 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of a move up. Yeah, makes sense? So then what we do is we just put in nice clean, in hindsight, you know, we have hindsight here, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, really clear. This was a deep correction, bump, that all hangs together, great. And then what do we find, what we should anticipate next? A minimum of 3 waves. Look at this, A, B, C, right? That's like textbook stuff here. Now, it's happened probably faster than anticipated, and I'll show you what that means in a second. But if we just kind of draw this out, this is an intermediate count of an A, an irregular ABC, because this didn't exceed this, but it is what it is. And then this final leg down. And is this the final leg down? Well, we spoke about overbalance of time and price. Look at this. This price movement to the upside is greater than this and definitely greater than any upside movement here. So that gives us great confidence to say it's likely that this is going to be that ABC low. Did I not click the final click? There's my final click. So let's have a look. So that's the macro count. Macro count meaning the bigger level overview. Let's have a look. This bump, this macro count wave 1, and then the macro count wave 2. Intermediate count looks like a nice, let me just change that there, an A, B, C on an intermediate count. We can actually change this to an intermediate, so it just comes up a bit bigger. Yeah. Now what we're looking at is we go, okay, that's the pattern. That's the pattern for Aave, right? Because this is the thing. This is the thing that you need to understand. Regardless of the fundamentals of a project, fundamental, we're talking 3, 5, 10 years, right? The weight, the value of the project is going to show in the price over the next 1, 3, 5, 10 years, right? Less than a year, less than 6 months, less than 3 months, psychology, fear and greed, short-term, medium-term profit taking. And that's when this really starts to hold, and we want to kind of get the best of both worlds. If you're long-term buy and hold, then you don't really need to be paying that much attention to this, but it just kind of gives you a bit of a flavor of what's happening. But if you're in and out of the market on a day-by-day, week-by-week basis, then this can really be helpful on technical analysis for coming in and out. So let's now do the following. Let's do our price projections. Right, we're going to do a retracement. We're going to take this low, measure it from this high. Typical maximum of a correction is 78.6%, but there's some common price projections. So let's just make sure this marries up. Boom. Boom. And the two that I want is typical minimum is 50%. We can see we've exceeded that, so we don't need that. 62% is the next number. We can see we've exceeded that. And 78% is the typical maximum of a wave 2. So we're in that zone. And that's on a macro count. That's valuable information for us. Then on an intermediate, which is this ABC, can we use some Fibonacci price projections to help us to say, is this, how probable is this likely to be the end of the wave 2? So if we measure the wave A and project it from a wave B high, the typical relationship is a minimum of 62%. Look at that, it tags it perfectly. Oh my lord, look at that. I didn't even plan that. That was just like perfect. By the way, if you hear bells in the background, it's my cat. My cat Simba. Sometimes he's ready for his breakfast. If he comes over and talks to me, then I might have to pull him up and introduce to Simba. So this is now 78.6% and 62%. We've got a cluster very, very close to each other. So we can now get rid of this. So we're really, really clean on the chart. Then we're going to do a external retracement, which is more of a confirming indicator from a price perspective. And the key number is the 1.618. And you can see it's in that zone and we've exceeded that. So now we've got this nice zone over here. We could zoom into a lower time frame and see if there's a 5-wave count on this wave, this part of this wave, but this is enough information. Then what we're going to do is some time analysis. So now we've got pattern and price. Let's just look at time. Now I don't think it's reached the minimum time, typical minimum time, but let's have a quick look. The beginning of wave 1, end of a wave 1 here, projected. The typical minimum, absolute minimum is 38%, and then typical minimum is 50%. Right, so normally if you're trading, what I would wait for is the price to exceed the minimum time taken for a correction. But you're looking for a confluence of events, and you don't always get the 4 that you're looking for, which is pattern, price, time, and momentum. But you always want to get a minimum of 3 of the 4. And it's all a probability games in terms of, are we likely to see the correction finish? So I'm going to now look at momentum, right? So the pattern time is there, but we can also do the time on how long did it take us to form the wave A. And typically a wave C would be 100 to a maximum of 162%. So you can see we've exceeded this part of the price. So, you know, there's one thing saying that we've exceeded the price, the time taken for a typical wave C. Yeah, but what's encouraging is, let's just look at the momentum. So we jump into a weekly chart. The momentum is bullish on the weekly chart. Okay, that's positive. So we should say the next few weeks should be sideways to up. And then the momentum on a daily chart is just turning bullish, or just turned bullish. Let me just change this to this one here, because what we're looking for is the indicator that best marries up with these lows. Yeah, and this one does it quite nicely. So the next bullish reversal, we should see the wave 1, wave 2, and then we should see potentially the beginning of a wave 3 of a wave 3, which tends to be quite impulsive. If that's the case, we might see some aggressive moves to the upside, maybe similar to this, and maybe a bit more aggressive than that. So let's now just do a last bit of. So we haven't got the time so clean, but we've got pattern, price, and momentum. That's enough for us to go, yep, that's high probability. Also, I believe I mentioned overbalance in time and price. So overbalance means if we take the biggest movement to the upside on this whole corrective move to the downside was this movement here, right, on closing price data. And if I take this over here, you can clearly see that this has exceeded the previous movement to the upside. So from a psychological standpoint, I said the buyers have more confidence, and there's a lot of buying action, and it was the strongest piece of buying that we've seen since May 18th. So that's what you call an overbalance of price. Time is the exact same thing, but we just go horizontal, right? We go, how long did it take for that to go from here to here? Well, it took You know, it's almost like too small. Unless I zoom in, let me zoom in like this. How long did it take? It took roughly that amount of time. So you can see that we've exceeded that time also because it's taken this long, right? So now we've exceeded both. This is important, so hence I'm doing it really, trying to do it in a real layman's terms so it makes it clear. We've got an overbalance in both price, which is this move to the upside, and in time, right? Any correction, how long it's taken to do, has been exceeded by here, and the price has been exceeded on the up and the horizontal, or maybe that way for you. All right, so let's just finish up with the following. Okay, so this looks like a high probability low, wave 2 low of Aave. If that's the case, what should we anticipate next? On this next bullish reversal, we should expect, let's draw this here, 20, this to be a wave 1, and then exactly as we've done all of our projections for this macro level wave 2, we do it for a micro level wave 2. So if we just zoom in over here, and we can get rid of these lines now. It's given its service to us. Great, we don't need that no more because it just clutters the chart. So now what we're going to do is do the exact same thing for this intermediate micro count over here on closing day data. Is we're going to do the same thing when first we'll do the retracement. Let's get rid of that. We'll take this low to this high, and the information that we want. Typical minimum is 50%, 62 and 78.6. So we want to wait for the price to at least exceed 50%. Is it always going to reach 50%? Well, no. Sometimes when it's really, really bullish, it just exceeds it. But that's the minimum if you're trading this, that is. If you're long-term buy and hold, or you're staking your Aave and you just want to know price action, then this is not that relevant because this is more like the next 1 or 2 weeks. That gives you an idea. Then time, typical minimum time, as we said before. Let me just see which one is the low. This one's lower. Typical time is 50%. And we've exceeded 50%. So we've exceeded time, but we haven't hit price. So we've got time in terms of minimum projection. Pattern is 1. Haven't really, when we could say there's an A, B, C. So that might be the case. It's probably tagged the 38.2% retracement, which it has. But typical correction for wave 2 is most common, is above 50%. So time, boom. Yeah, I'm just having a quick glance. I mean, there is an argument that this looks like an A, B, C. There's a strong argument for that. Yeah, and remember, we don't get it perfect. It's like doesn't always hit price exactly. That's why it's a probabilities game. But it does look like a nice. We might need to go to a lower time frame, an A, B, C, on a micro. On a micro, so then we can do a couple of things here. Now I'm only doing this because we exceeded the 50% on the time, which is the time it takes, and the typical maximum is 100%. So this zone over here. So we might not have hit the 50%, but we have hit the 38.2%. So what we can also do is a alternate price projection, which is where we measure this wave, what looks like a potential A from this B, and 100%. So what we might have is this low being made at 38.2%. If it ends up being the low, that's a really bullish sign. That's a really bullish sign because that's a weak wave 2, which means the buyers are really kind of buying more than the sellers are selling, which is an optimistic move. But I would wait for the next bullish reversal. Let me just double check this one. Boom, boom. So in the lower time frame, I'm using this particular setting, which is 8533 for the stochastics RSI. This is what this indicator is. Because it just marries up nicely with this shorter term. It catches these intermediate moves, these lower moves here, much better. So yeah, this possibly looks like. Oh, let me just copy that. Oh. Potential wave 2 of Aave. Yeah, yeah, it's high probability. So where would be a good buying position? If you're just trading it, even if you're just buying the underlying token, you can be a bit more aggressive and buy at this low, but it might go lower. So you can, if you have a stop loss or even a push notification that tells you do this action when it hits this price. But to confirm the low, the first indication will be above this wave B high, and then next would confirm it was above this wave 1 high. So there you have it. That was Aave. That was nice and detailed. We've got our macro picture, we've got our intermediate picture, and we've got our micro picture. Let's just do one last thing. If we just get rid of these for a second. Let's just get rid of these for a second. We'll leave those in. Do one last thing. If this does end up being a wave 2 low, what should you anticipate for the price action for Aave, and then how long should it take? Well, we should anticipate, if we measure this wave 1 and project it from this potential wave 2 low, the typical minimum for a wave 3 is 1.618, and typical maximum is 2.618. So straight away we'll go, boom, we can anticipate Aave potentially to reach 1,143 as its minimum if it ends up being a wave 3, and then also maximum 1,700. So you kind of do the math yourself in terms of where is it today. Let's just call it 300 today, so it's 3, 6, 9, 12, like 4x gross, 4x to a 5, 6x, yeah, almost a 6x gross. And time, how long does it take? Well, typical wave 3s take a minimum of the same time as a wave 1. Yep, so for wave 1, someone change to 100. Boom. You go, okay, where's that? So the typical minimum should be, wow, okay, let me just double check that. Let me just double check I did that right. Right. Yeah, that was right. So the typical minimum would be to the end of the year, till early January. So where are we now? We're in July, mid-July. So we got August. Yeah, so we got like 5 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, 5, 6 months. Yeah, for upside movement. And then I'm gonna do one last thing. Typical maximum is here. So now we've got this price and time zone. As more information becomes available to us, then we can look at this more clearly nearer the time. What am I looking for? Where's my thing? That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for this. Boom. So now we've got this time and price. I know it's very broad, right? Going from nearly 1,200 to 1,700, but the time is quite narrow. The time is, yeah, early January to mid-February. We should see the wave 3 unfold, which will look something like, I reckon it looks something like, this is pure speculation now, guys. I'm just doing this for the fun of it. It's a bit of entertainment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It'll probably be like a 1, 2, kind of like a really bullish 3, 4, 5, something like this. And it's pure speculation. But we need more information as it unfolds. But Aave, you'll get a clear picture. If it unfolds like this, this is what it looks like. So, what are you most optimistic about today from XRP, Cardano, Aave? What do you think? What would you like me to cover more of? Did you find it useful that I covered pattern, price, time, and momentum? I'm here to serve you, so you let me know what you want and what you need. And if you like today's video, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Help me get to 1,000 subscribers. I believe YouTube unlocks loads of features for me, and hopefully sometime in the near future. In fact, tell me this. Would you like me to be doing YouTube lives, right? So I can take your question directly, your coin, your token that you're looking at. We can do a live analysis, and we can do Q&A live. So rather than this being this few days delay, because we have to edit this and kind of get it out there and so on and so forth, we can kind of have live. Tell me how you feel about that and what value I can add to you.